What up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 4 of the Dragon Ball Virgin podcast. We got me, Gozen, from AnimeUproar, the YouTube channel, and now, alive again after years, the Twitch channel. And then we got the Anime Dude as a special guest, who also is on Twitch like every day, and also has a YouTube channel. What up?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
And we got Ray, the Dragon Ball and anime virgin, who we enjoy making fun of because he reacts funny to the weird stuff that's happening.
Oh, thanks a lot. I don't know if that's a compliment, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And so just to remind you guys, as always, if you're not on listening to this on Twitch, we stream live on the Rank of Fate Twitch channel Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we had a hiccup, so people are probably wondering on the podcast platforms, like, what happened? Why didn't we upload the episode? It was because the power just went out at my house, so we couldn't record that day at all, so we had to move it. And everybody was, understood, obviously it was outside of our control. So we ended up just moving to today, and then we'll have this upcoming Wednesday, episode number 5. So, which is going to be pretty much the episodes following. Ray, do you recall what the saga is called?
Oh geez, that I could look it up right now. But I was just telling Gozen before this. I don't know. Does Anime Dude know?
I don't know.
No, yeah. All right, look it up,
right
Ray. Look at
it. It is the Commander Red Saga.
Perfect. And can you tell us the episodes?
Episodes 58 to 67.
Perfect. Yeah. So that'll be. I just want to always mention, and this was General Blue Saga that we're covering today, and I just want to tell you guys too that if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, that you could always find the full episodes on the podcast platform. Just look up the Dragon Ball Virgin, so you'll find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. And we currently got 21 ratings on Apple Podcasts and an average of 4.9 stars. So thank you everyone who dropped that 5-star rating. We appreciate it.
For sure. And before we start, I do want to mention something, a piece of news that happened this past week about Gozen. And if you were following the other podcast, probably mentioned with Animac, but AnimeUproar, Gozen, and Animac's YouTube channel hit 1 million subscribers this past week. So that's huge. So big congrats to Gozen and Animac.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And yeah, it's a crazy thing that I've definitely been looking forward to for a while. And yeah, that we actually hit it and so fast is amazing. I think we doubled in a year from
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys were getting that close. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, from half a million to 1 million. Yeah, we had a good last month for sure, which was awesome. And obviously I do cover Dragon Ball content on there too with the Dragon Ball Super manga reviews. So if you guys are just listening to the podcast, you can check that out, AnimeUproar on YouTube. And yeah, no, it's been very trippy. We had champagne, we took pictures. It was fun times. We ate a cake that said 1 million on it. It was a cool milestone, and I really appreciate it. All right, so back to the business right here. Pretty much. You want to start, Ray, with the synopsis of what happened this arc and how your initial thoughts on it were.
Sure. So maybe slight note before that. So because we're recording on Saturday, I've started watching a bit of the next arc, and I gotta say it might be one of my favorites. So
hype for next episode as well.
This one, however, I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think it was one of my favorites, but it was pretty cool. We continue with the Red Ribbon Army on Goku's tail, literally his tail. So at the beginning of the arc, we get into Goku and Bulma trying to find the Dragon Balls. I think that's where we left off in the last episode, and we were talking about how it's just like the adventure starting all over again. So they're trying to find the Dragon Balls. They get that Dragon Radar fixed. And now we get a new enemy on their tail, who is General Blue. And I'm wondering, maybe from the beginning, Gozen and Anime Dude,
or Jordan, yeah.
You can just go Jordan, either way.
What kind of threat did you perceive from the beginning? General Blue as a threat to Goku compared
See,
to some of the other enemies we've faced?
I did.
you did? Okay, so for me, it didn't seem like a threat in the beginning, but as soon as we saw like what he's capable of with that episode with the like eel, the giant eel with the electricity.
Oh,
Like when we saw him like get electrified, he like smiled like like he enjoyed it, and then he just crushed the eel in his bare hands. Like that's when I knew, yo, this guy is some next level opponent. And but before that, yeah, like it wasn't sure. And then he faced Krillin, and it was, yeah, man. Like I know, I think Ray was looking forward to like stronger opponents, and yeah, Ray, this guy straight up like I don't know who's stronger than him so far. Like obviously he had trickiness to his powers as well, which helped in a fight. But yeah, I'd say he's one of the most dangerous ones we've come across so far.
dude. I guess you kind of had a point and stuff there. I didn't really think about like how dangerous he'd be until he actually managed to beat Krillin, and like you kind of get to witness like his magical power type thing where he can freeze people.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, like the psychic powers.
But man, you get to see just how cold blooded he is like right away. He had
Oh yeah.
the soldiers executed just for like picking their nose or something.
Oh.
Oh, I was like, oh shit!
I don't
forgot
know.
about that.
I don't know what it is with the anime and like having people pick their nose constantly. It's usually like likable characters too, like Goku and Luffy, like constantly picking their noses. And yeah, this guy is the anti that. He's all about like cleanliness and he hates like dirty habits. And so yeah, this guy in the sub, he's like, oh, I have wife and kids, please don't. And he just gets him killed for picking his nose. And he's like, oh, I love the sound when he gets executed.
Oh man, got dark.
Speaking of the cleanliness, do you remember? I'm trying to think who punched him. Maybe it was Krillin at one point. But the first time he got punched and he bled, do you remember what he said?
In the dub, I'm not sure. In the sub, I think it was something like, "Oh, my beautiful face! The shame of ruining my beautiful face,"
Yeah.
something like that.
He said, go ahead. And we did.
I just said it was like something like ruining a piece of artwork or something.
Yeah.
He said it's like throwing red paint on the Mona Lisa.
Oh my god.
I died when he did that.
Dude, the dub. Oh my god, that was a good one. They pulled that off well. Perfect.
No,
yeah,
no.
I enjoy that more than the one we got. That's amazing. Yeah. And I feel like it could have been it was a very Zoolander-esque moment where he could have well said like, no one makes me bleed my own blood. Something like that. But yeah, it was great. Seeing him react.
So we get General Blue, and I mean, a lot of the episode is kind of underwater in the ocean or somewhere in the ocean area where there's land. So basically, they find out that one of the Dragon Balls is underwater when they get the Dragon Radar working. So they decide to go to Master Roshi to get a submarine from a Dino capsule. It's hilarious, though, because he trades that shrinking watch that Bulma has, and then you see Roshi's up to his same tricks as before, trying to shrink in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Launches to get in there. So
Yeah, we need those pervy moments in Dragon Ball.
exactly, and you even see like Bulma's father. Remember the one Dino cap when he throws it, and all those magazines come out?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Roshi's like, why can't these girls afford clothes?
No, he's like, yeah, and in the sub, I think it says something like, oh, why are they naked if they're not taking baths? Something like that. Like classic Goku line. And yeah, you even skip like when those guys straight up attacked Bulma and they wanted to do things you can't even mention in comic books or gag anime.
Sure.
And then Goku ends up beating them up and she's like, whoa, they were just perverts. Like, you took it too far. So
Did
that
she
was,
say that? I don't remember her saying that.
yeah, that was in the sub. I obviously in the dub, like I don't know how much they talk about
I would
perverts.
say they did take it far. I remember like, dang, like Dragon Ball is getting dark as heck. Like,
No, they did. They're like they said like, yo, you want to have some fun or something like that in the sub.
she's like, I'm underage. They're like, no, it doesn't matter. Like,
Really? Oh my
Yeah, she's like, I'm
god.
underage.
Yo, that's dark. Oh
And
man.
He's like, I'm only 16. Yeah, I'm underage.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
kept going. I'm like, oh man, like,
The dub was, oh wow, okay. So yeah, the
Yeah.
dub is not scared to go to that territory.
no, it's
Interesting.
not.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, we get that. They get into the submarine, go underwater to try to find the Dragon Ball, and that's where a lot of the adventure happens. They find out they're getting chased, which I don't believe Bulma knows that the Red Ribbon Army, like who they even are at this point.
Well,
At the
she
beginning.
knows who they are. She doesn't know that they're chasing them.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's freaked out when she figures out because like everybody in the Dragon Ball world, it's made pretty clear, knows about the Red Ribbon Army and how freaking dangerous they are.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets angry at Goku when she finds out that the history from the last arc and how they're chasing him. And I'm pretty sure she basically says like she wouldn't have got into the situation they're in if she would have known they were being chased by the Red Ribbon Army. But yeah, a lot of it is being chased underwater. Krillin is there as well with them. And so we get different enemies. I mean, I think is the first major one that skeleton pirate, or is the octopus before that?
I don't know the names that they gave them.
But yeah, the little like the big robot thing was what
First,
Goku
yeah.
fought first, and then yeah, after that Goku ran into the octopus when trying to catch up to them and stuff. So.
And just because we had extra time because we couldn't record on like the day we were supposed to, I also read the manga chapters because I thought it would be fun to see like what's filler and what's not. And yeah, they prolonged in the anime. They definitely prolonged that pirate robot battle.
I felt like that part dragged.
Yeah. The manga just like it was real quick.
Oh man.
And then so yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it was funny when like Goku didn't even know what animal that was, like, or the sea creature, the octopus. He's like, "What are you?"
Yeah,
so yeah.
He said a squid in the sub.
Oh, he said a spider in the in the joke.
A spider. Yeah, making him even more ridiculous. Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah, and like that, for example, that squid wasn't, or I'm just using Goku's terms. That octopus. See, like he didn't really seem like a threat, you know, like he kind of got Goku good a few times, but then Goku just Kamehameha him and turned him into like fried octopus, right? Like we'd get at a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
Except a lot larger portion. But then yeah, like I think the General Blue was actually a really interesting villain in the sense that yeah, he was smart and he was powerful. So like when we kind of skipped that trap when, you know, like they all jumped over the trap because like all of these arrows were coming if they stepped on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had this situation where Goku jumped, Krillin jumped, barely made it because he hit his head, and then they expected Bulma to jump, which is ridiculous. And then they had to do the power pole with that. But then like everybody, all the freaking army guys straight up like die because they run in there. And then we could get a situation where he's like, you know what? There has to be another way. And he just figures out a secret passage. So, like, this guy was smarter than literally all of our guys. So you have to keep that in mind. He was smart and he was, like, lethal.
Not only was he smart, he was just resilient, too. Like, the amount of, you could tell, like, right after they escaped from the cave, like, they were struggling for their lives going through a submarine and Goku doing a Kamehameha. And then, like, he was knocked out and he still just manages to swim up.
I was gonna say that was a part that I thought was filler because I'm like, there's no way he made it out. Like they just wanted to do extra stuff with him. No, like that's in the manga, man. He's straight up like he just. I couldn't believe that because like those guys struggled so much, barely made it out alive. This dude just pops his head out, smiling. Like he just had a leisurely swim. It's like, oh man, yeah, dangerous dude.
I think we kind of skipped over what was my personal favorite part of like.
Yeah, we can always go back. Yeah,
But I just didn't know, like, Ray, how bad did you think it was that they thought Master Roshi was like a scientist, and the Red Ribbon Army literally tried to invade his island and just couldn't.
Oh no, it was hilarious. And then you got to just see the strength of Master Roshi. Just, I think.
Oh man, I wanted to mention that too.
I love just seeing him shine.
When he takes the whip out and he just starts whipping him, he's like, "Are you sure you can't handle this or something?" And then he's just looking at him like, "Are you serious?" And sure, yeah. No, that's awesome. I was gonna mention as well. How did you feel? Because this was something that kind of got me. So like so many times within this adventure, I mean, even before that, think about when they got onto that one island at the beginning of the arc, and Bulma's being chased by those guys again, getting shot, and then like she's screaming to Goku. Goku saves her, so many times as well. He saved her in the past. He's saving her when they're in the ocean, and like when they can't find him, she's just so willing to just go. She's like, "Oh, we just gotta go, right?" And Krillin's like, "No, let's wait." And I don't know. That just really
Yeah,
pissed
that
me off.
shook
Like,
you a
she was
bit.
willing,
Yeah,
she was
well,
willing to just ditch him after so many
yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah. So first off, thank you, King Davey, for the sub. Awesome. And yeah, I want to mention with that, that's kind of what I appreciate in Bulma's character, to be honest, because there's so many like quote unquote pure-hearted characters,
She's
right?
just a realist.
So yeah, she's very realistic, like a realistic teenage girl kind of thing where it's like, yeah, she has goodness in her 100%, and we see that here and there, but she has a bunch of flaws. And yeah, some of those flaws are like when she was with Yamcha and she's like, I'm always looking for an upgrade, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't loyal at all. And in this situation, she's like, come on, Goku's sturdy, he'll make it. Like the most important thing is my life, all right? Like I'm a girl, I need to be protected. So yeah, for in her situation, I actually appreciate like her honesty. She gives me very like Nami vibes from like One Piece. Anime dude, you can appreciate that reference because yeah, like she wants, she likes money, she likes treasure, and she values her life.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like Nami would never leave Luffy behind, but at the same time, she's probably like, you know what, he can take care of himself.
Yeah, she would make that joke exactly. Like when shit hits the fan, they're there if they could do something, but like with these joke moments, they're prioritizing like their own safety kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also wanted to mention that I just wanted to mention that the Master Roshi moment was so cool. Like in the anime and in the manga, like he really got his time to shine, and I love how everybody fears this army, and he's just like such a great character where he's like, oh yeah, if they come, I'll beat them. I'm an invincible master. It's all good, and he does exactly that. He's like, oh yeah, you want me to hold your Dragon Balls? That'll like send the most dangerous army after me? Yeah, no problem.
But
so
even
I appreciate that so much. Yeah, go anime dude.
I was just gonna say, but even then, like, was the part where General Blue goes on to Roshi's Island? That's also in the manga, right? Like, where
Yes, it was.
General Blue. Like, man, that freaking magic power, whatever, the freezing people. Like, I just forgot like how powerful that was back then.
Yeah, and like
better than the carrot thing. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I think I told you, or maybe I didn't yet, but this is all new stuff like to me. So I also haven't like experienced this arc before. So yeah, it was interesting seeing a guy with straight up psychic powers that's not only has like a one trick thing like the rabbit did with the carrot, but he straight up could kick Krillin's butt or ass in like a straight up match. But then he also has like the added bonus of being able to completely freeze people and then to control things as well, and to like tie them up so they can't move and stuff like that. Like what an OP villain actually at this point in the story. Wow.
I guess aside from knocking him out in that cave, Goku never really actually beat him.
He never did. He never did, bro. Like he had if it was left up to like one-on-one death match, Goku would have lost both times.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because you had a situation where the mouse saved him, right? The mouse showed up, General Blue freaked out, and then he like lost his like composure, and Goku straight up saved the mouse afterwards by putting it in his mouth because he owed him. He saved his life.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, like that mouse is the only thing that like saved him there, and he even acknowledged it.
100%. After that, I guess we haven't started talking about Penguin Village yet and stuff, so we can save that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which also surprisingly was not filler. It was actually in the manga as well.
Yeah, I think that was one of those things where like it was mainly for the manga and stuff where he initially did that crossover because it was it was from his first series.
Ray, tell us more about how you felt about like the overpoweredness and fighting of the General Blue.
No, yeah, for sure. I saw that. Especially, we learned that Krillin is no weakling in any sense. Like in the tournament arc, we saw he easily was able to beat a bunch of guys, especially in the opening rounds.
And he's been getting stronger too.
That's what I was about to say that he's been training with Master Roshi the entire last arc, so he's definitely even gotten stronger there. So, yeah, for him to just dispose of him in the way he did was pretty powerful. And yeah, I mean, when they get out of the ocean and he goes onto the island and he's even able to freeze Master Roshi and again puts the bomb on there, and then luckily when launch comes, he's able to save them. But yeah, I mean, like, Roshi can't even get out of it, so it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it takes you a little while to clue in, but it's hilarious when she's coming and they're just like, yo, you gotta hurry up, and she's just like confused. You playing a game or something?
This place was spick and span when I left.
Yeah, she's like, I'll just put this dangerous bomb in the trash. It's all good.
Yeah, and speaking of launch, wasn't it hilarious? I think this was when the Red Ribbon Army first got onto the island, beginning, when she sneezes, when she's being held by gunpoint, and she just completely disposes of them. But anyways, yeah, luckily for that, they are able to get out. But what's with like all the bombs? Like, we have this bomb with General Blue. I'm pretty sure there were 2 bombs in the last arc. There's a lot of bombs recently in Dragon Ball.
Huh. Well, I feel like bombs are just, they're a good way to make things more intense. Because, like, I feel like with the Kamehameha is one version of, like, something that can cause explosions. But then they want to throw in technology because Toriyama likes throwing in a bunch of stuff. Like, power, magic, technology. And they just want to make it a threat, too. Make it more interesting.
That's what I was about to say. Like, bombs will go boom. But, there's a lot of times where we've already seen that, like, guns don't necessarily kill them or anything, so you got to kind of up the ante there if you're going to go the technological route.
Yeah, and they gotta, like, always make it clear, because sometimes, like, there was that one moment in, like, the last arc where he specifically said, oh, this gun will be able to kill you, and then he didn't end up being able to shoot him with it. So yeah, they have to, like, mention why it's deadly or up the ante, because yeah, if you just shoot Goku with a normal gun, like, you did nothing, you just hurt him a bit.
Speaking of which, I already thought it was kind of funny and stuff, but after Ray pointed it out last time, I just, like, I crack up every time Launch just pulls a gun out of nowhere. Like, it just literally comes out of... Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it's true. And Launch, like, again, she was mouse number 2. She was the hero, came back, right? I love Master Roshi, how he, like, knows her so well now. He's like, oh, let her go. Like, she'll turn into a good version and she'll come back. And, like, that exactly happened, which is awesome. And yeah, she just saved the day by cutting Goku. And yeah, I feel like I do enjoy her character.
That's technically 3 times that Blue could have killed Goku then. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And in the last time, which we'll eventually get to as well, like in the Penguin Village, like, it wasn't Goku that beat him, right? It was Arale. So, and Goku straight up says, wow, there are a lot of people stronger than me, so I have to keep training. Which is funny, because, like, he straight up acknowledged that Arale is, like, more dangerous than him.
Oh, 100%. Easy. I saw a comment, I think it was on... was it on one of you guys' last podcast videos? I, like, glanced through the comments and stuff where somebody was like, I binged Dragon Ball once at a friend's house, and I got, like, really far up to where you'd be in Z, and I thought that Goku was going to go have to get Arale's help for the bad guy or whatever.
That's so funny.
I get it. Like, I
yeah, it's canon. It's in the world. Like literally. Yeah, you could totally go get her. And yeah, I love Arale. I think she's hilarious. And we kind of actually mentioned this during the last podcast you were on, Anime Dude, where we were talking about, like, would people actually be thrown off by Arale, or, like, because it's a different series and not appreciate it, or would it blend in well even if you didn't read the other series? So I'm wondering, Ray, what did you think of the whole Penguin Village section?
So is there background info that I don't know about in terms of the Penguin
100%. There's background info, in the sense that was those characters that we saw with Arale, the little girl and stuff, that was a manga that Toriyama worked on before Dragon Ball, and it was popular, and it had its own anime, and so it's like a crossover between Dragon Ball and that other work, and he makes it, like, pretty much canon that those two worlds are kind of together.
Okay, see, I did not know that, so okay, that makes a lot of sense then. No, I guess, yeah, it's an interesting idea then, especially, was it popular, you said?
Yeah, definitely.
The Penguin Village? Okay, yeah, so No, I mean I think that's cool to add in. I didn't consider it filler either. Like I thought it was important to the arc, especially I mean for humor purposes, but for other purposes in terms of getting the Dragon Ball back and you know General Blue basically losing there. So no, I enjoyed it. Do you want to get into Penguin Village now or
Yeah, like we can totally like jump back and forth when we remember something
sure?
we want to say about like previously. But yeah, I think with fillers, like just something that I noticed was I definitely assumed they would take more liberties with the anime, which they might do in other sections. But from what I've seen, it was mostly just extending parts, not as much like just adding brand new parts, as
Mhm.
far as I could tell from this arc.
And that's what like I wasn't too sure how much it would stand out and stuff whenever we first or it was first brought up in that last episode that I was on, um, because it's just one of those things where there's already so many weird things in the Dragon Ball world, from dinosaurs to cities and floating cars and capsules and all this stuff. So like, I didn't know like how much it would
Exact,
stand out in terms of.
exactly. And Ray didn't even know that it was like a previous work, which is funny to me because I look at some of the parts with like that old guy just being like peace, and like it's clearly like a joke, like
Oh,
within the original anime. But yeah, I guess Ray was like, another weird thing in anime,
I
whatever.
just feel like it just adds more to it once you do know, though. Like it
Oh
just adds
yeah,
like more appreciation because then you see like the old man being like, "Oh, I just haven't been on TV in forever," and he's
yeah.
like, "You're doing pieces."
Oh, I love the metafiction in
Breaking the
Dragon
fourth
Ball.
wall.
There's so much, yeah, there's so much like self-referentiality, like breaking the fourth wall. Like they're constantly like doing stuff like, "Oh, this can't happen. We can't talk about this in gag manga," or like, just straight up saying stuff that is a nod to us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Or General Blue, like whenever he first discovered that place, he was like, "What the heck? This isn't like my maps. Like, what? How did we get here?" Like, they just literally had no clue where they were at. Like, so it's kind of interesting.
Exactly.
It's not like a normal place there, and
And although like I do feel like the world was a little skewed with the rules there because we had like a Team Rocket blasting off moment, which I don't see much in Dragon Ball
no,
itself. But in this Penguin Village, like he ended up in like Egypt, which we assume is like on the opposite part of the world or whatever. So that was funny. All right, Ray, take us through Penguin Village.
Sure. So well, do you want me to talk about people that I found interesting, I guess,
Yeah.
in Penguin
yeah,
Village? Okay, so I mean the first guy, I think he showed up pretty early. He was hilarious, and I'm wondering, is he in the manga you talked about for it, Sour Man?
oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Actually,
Superman. Yeah.
he's
He
very
is.
over there and stuff. I actually had a like a Japanese professor once and stuff, or like a professor that taught Japanese in college, and like even he like talked about like Aurelie and the Superman thing. Even though like he didn't watch or read any real manga or anything aside from that, it's just such a big thing over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
It's
cool.
iconic, right? Like I bet there's so many people who have like the hat that
Hmm.
she has or have a backpack like featuring her and stuff like that.
Yeah. So no, I mean I enjoyed that Sour Man bit, especially when he ran into Blue and like you just saw just power wise how different they are. I mean, Blue was he just crushed that. Which I mean, thinking of the time period as well was really interesting with the city because we've talked about time periods being really unique in Dragon Ball, and like there are certain things within Penguin Village which seem advanced, and then there's other things like they have basically like payphones. So
Yeah.
and just how General Blue was able to just completely destroy that payphone in front of Sour Man. But yeah, I mean, he was, I think, like hysterical, especially just when he saw how powerful Blue was. He's just like, "All right, what do you need? You need my car? Yeah, take my car." Like,
Yeah, it was so funny. Like he kept on like trying to like scare him off and it just wasn't working. Oh
yeah,
man, that was hilarious. And then like it was like all bark, no bite, and then General Blue was like, "All right, yeah, I'm just gonna tear off this whole like phone booth for you," and then like that was the end of it right there.
yeah. But no, I found. I mean, we've talked as well. I've talked curiosity about like police too, and they have police, but it's interesting how like did they not call the police by like name, by first name or something, instead of just referring? I guess maybe they know them, but it seems like unique in that sense, where the law and the city work together.
Yeah,
And I think the police were like shooting at that UFO thing. Like there were also people who weren't police shooting at it. So it's like a very unique system in
It
place
seems
in
like a
that
very
city.
small town thing, like everybody
Yeah,
knows everybody type of.
yeah,
exactly. And I like how they, yeah, I like how they included that small town thing, which is like, it explains why they never heard of the Red Ribbon Army or why it wasn't featured in the other manga. It's like, oh, this is a small one horse town. Like they don't know anything. They're like backwards, right?
Mhm.
So they kind of like accounted for that too.
Mhm. So in the city was from the manga is like everything basically the same time period, like everyone's the same age. It's just more of an expansion of characters. Would you
What do you
say?
mean? Oh,
So
like
you,
yeah, I think yeah, I would say again, maybe anime dude knows more than me about the Arale or Arale,
I
however you
have
say it.
I haven't ever actually read or watched Aurelia and stuff. I've only like learned a little bit from that Japanese professor talking about it, and then
So he
like
straight up said Arale.
into it. I think it's Aurelia or something like that. But yeah, he was just talking about her and stuff, and like how like big of a cultural thing stuff it was over there because he was saying the Superman and I don't know, but like the fact that like people that aren't even into anime or manga and stuff know
Yeah,
about it,
yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying it's gonna be like that relevant for a crossover or whatever. But there were people very hyped about it.
And how good is Toriyama being able to just create these characters who are like so iconic? Like Goku is straight up like the Olympics like representative for Japan. Like it's crazy.
Right.
So Ray,
Yeah.
you were saying?
oh no, just how different the world is. Yeah, small town technology wise, like we have like flying babies, but then we have other things where like people seem very simple and like it's kind of it has a kind of 80s 90s feel with the payphone. So yeah, very, I guess, very normal world in the sense of Dragon Ball, because we see these kind of dichotomies at play within Dragon Ball. But yeah, um, that really like struck an interest with me. But yeah, it's really cool to know that this world was already kind of created to begin with, and these characters were already in existence. But what characters maybe Gozen and Anime Dude stuck out to you that were unique or that you thought were interesting in the Penguin Village?
So for me, like I'm just gonna adopt anime dudes Arale because like so we're not like saying it differently and like I trust you know more about it.
I have no idea. I don't know how
But
to pronounce words
but
or names.
whatever. She was fun because like I really enjoyed how she was so OP, but like didn't intend to actually fight. You know, like Goku is like, okay, this is a fight. I'm gonna take this seriously. Like they just tell her to like straight up wrestle, and then she just kicks that guy's butt. Right? They just need to say, oh, wrestle with that guy. You know. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the back and forth between her and Goku because you have
Mm.
like obviously two protagonists from the same authors like from the same author but different stories and you see the similarities and you see how one could maybe branch off from the other because yeah, Goku seems like this weird like oddity in the Dragon Ball world where like no one's pure-hearted but he is pure-hearted and he's like different, but then you have her also jump on the cloud Nimbus and like without any issues she's pure-hearted too and you get like them going back and forth. I feel like fans of the original would like really enjoy that like acknowledgement of these two in a way similar characters
Yeah, very
just playing
similar.
around and being friends.
They're both just characters that are very ignorant of the world because Rala is like a robot that was built by the doctor there, and then Goku's.
Yeah, that was that said?
I don't know if it was said
I
or
don't
not.
even think that was said. Yeah, that's another thing. Like,
It's
Yeah,
just
did,
no,
did
I
you
don't
know
remember
Ray? Did you know Ray she was a robot?
that. I had no idea. I don't think that was mentioned, at least in the dub.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
so that's an interesting tidbit too. Yeah, and
they're
yeah,
just
so
very.
I didn't know. I forgot she was a robot, but then yeah, you mentioned it. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's like. I think she's just a robot. Yeah, I don't know all the details and stuff like that. I've never actually read Doctor Slump, but I don't know. If I had to choose a favorite character from that arc, I'd probably say either the police department, and more specifically like the female officer in the police department.
So she's like the angry one.
She just they didn't even see the enemy yet, and she just started shooting everyone. Like the chief had like 20 bullets in him. I was like, oh my god, like what's going on here? I don't know why that cracked me up for some reason. They're like, maybe we should like try to find the enemy or like plan. She's like, who needs strategy when you have guns? And she's like, she had like a freaking AR. I'm like, man, Jesus.
Yeah, and speaking of that, just shout out to Roshi, how he just caught all those bullets.
Oh man.
Like, remember that? Like, he just straight up, like, that's beyond some, like, Goku shit. That's like, oh man, that's beyond Matrix shit. He just, like, catches them all in his hand and, like, drops them. I loved it.
What I did like most about this arc is the fact that Roshi and Krillin both got a little bit more time to shine than.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah, like, we like these characters. We like watch them react together. So it was nice getting them back in, like Bulma and Krillin and, like, Launch even. But yeah, we didn't have that in the previous arc, and we might not have that next arc. We'll see. I'm not sure.
All right, so this is kind of off the cuff and random compared to what we were just talking about. But what did you think about the very first introduction or interaction, I guess you could say, between Goku and General Red, their Ray, whenever they were?
Oh yes. Oh, I forgot about that. But yeah, that was a great moment. Ray, do you remember that?
Sorry, could you refresh me?
Yeah, Goku like walked into the General Blue headquarters when they were on that first island towards the beginning of the arc, and like General Red's trying to get a report or something, and Goku's, like just confused, like he thinks the machine itself is like talking to him and whatever. He's like, "Are you a boy or a girl?"
No, that's hilarious. And then Bulma's just like, "Let's just get out of here."
Yeah, well, they were scared, right? They're like, "Holy crap, this is."
He wasn't scared at all. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Curious.
Yeah. And like, it's like, what do you make of that? Because I think like characters like that fascinate me, and like this is another reason why I think like, you know, Luffy like was very much inspired by Goku as well, although they have their differences. Because like Luffy is also like doesn't care about a person's status, doesn't care like if other people respect them, and Goku comes in here, yeah, everyone's like scared, walking on eggshells, and he's like, "Who are you? What's going on? What are you like? You're annoying." You're annoying.
Or like he's so oblivious, just doing his own thing. And he thinks it's a robot. Just like he's like, "Are you a boy or a girl? I can't tell." Like
yeah, like if
they're just like, "Man, all right, this boy must be strategizing against us. He's going back to headquarters. That must be a scientist on that island." Like they have all these like plans and assumptions that they just assume.
Yeah, and I really appreciate how he played like chess in the anime as well. And like I'm pretty sure the chess checkmate was actually a real checkmate, and I feel like most of the time they like get it wrong in anime. So it was nice that they were following the rules.
Gotta move the king first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are like times where like even when he's against say an enemy, maybe he doesn't know they're an enemy, like he'll be friendly with them, or he'll just introduce himself and say they'll attack him, and then he always kind of says like, "That made me angry," or "That really hurts." Like he's just so simple in that sense, like a child, right? Well, he is a child, but for sure, you still get that naivete even when he's fighting people, right?
Yeah, for sure. And he'll always like have that quality to an extent, which I think is like the cool thing about Goku. Like I wouldn't hold it against them. Like, you know, you see some characters, and yeah, they go from being like maybe more innocent to kind of like Roshi, right? But yeah, Goku just stays like this kind of pure-hearted person. So it's interesting. Like, he hasn't changed since the story started.
Yeah. So if Aurelie is a robot, you know they talk about the Gachams? I think they're called the Gachams.
Yeah.
There's like flying babies. Do you know the backstory behind that?
I don't.
Are they robots, or what are they?
They burned that tree. Apparently they're stronger than her. I thought that was.
That's what she says. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole town's kind of crazy and stuff because, you know, like she brings Goku out cookies, and then Aurelie's over there drinking oil, and those other babies are like eating screws and metal and stuff, and Aurelie's licking the knife whenever she's held hostage. Like nobody's really worried about these.
That was so funny. Like, why would you lick the knife?
He's probably trying to eat it or something. Like, oh, man.
Like, that was so funny. Like, now, like, if you're ever in that situation, like, you got a knife to you, you just know, like, just lick it, freak out the person holding it to you.
I just love the fact that, like, the doctor and the wife, like, they weren't freaking out at all. Like, they were kind of worried about him. They're like, man, I wouldn't do that. Like,
exactly. They're like, man, that's not smart. What? No, they're like, in the sub, they're like, that's dangerous. Right. And then, but they meant dangerous for him, not dangerous for her. Oh my god.
They didn't really freak out until he just like straight up punched Goku and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my god, I really play tag or whatever. Show him how to play tag.
And that was General Blue's big mistake. He could have gotten away.
Could have got away with it too if it wasn't for the meddling kid.
And then he's like, I gotta kill this kid. And when you want to kill a kid, you're not gonna get away with it. That's just how it works.
So they didn't freak out at all until that.
Ray, any other standout moments for you?
Just a question. Do we, at the end of it, I'm trying to remember, do we find out what exactly happened to Blue when he went blasting off?
You said something about him being in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see in the anime like what happened to him. So.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a dub. I don't know, but yeah, they do show that in the manga and in the actual like sub.
Huh.
He's actually talking to like General Red, and then he's like, hey, like, yeah, there's an inconvenience. I can't just like come back to base, but I did get this like dragon radar kind of thing. So he is alive, and he's in an Egypt looking place with like pyramids. But yeah, it's clearly far away, and he's not gonna be able to get back to the base like anytime soon.
Let's say like the only part I remember and stuff at the end of like episode 57, I think it is they're like, man, he still hasn't came down. They're like, yeah, I hope he took snacks up there. Like, I didn't feel like they just went complete gag ending.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they went the gag ending, and as Sam says in the comments, at least he gets a free vacation. Yeah, so if he can enjoy that, yeah, he gets to experience some new places. And yeah, he was just a fun character all throughout. And I don't know how he laughed in the dub, but in the sub, I feel like he was such a precursor to Frieza. And like Frieza's manners and laughing as well, like just kind of like, oh, I don't want to like, everything is beneath me. I'm great. I'm like the Mona Lisa, and then just like ha ha ha, like that laugh kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, like he goes around for basically almost the entire arc without a shirt on, right? So yeah, he's got that cockiness to him, the eccentricness to him.
That's so funny.
Very, very self. What would you even say? Like, not even.
Arrogant self-love. Yeah.
Like he's just like
egotistical for sure.
Egotistical. There's a good one.
Yeah. No, he has a huge ego, and yeah, like that was his downfall pretty much. Yeah, he couldn't just finish, like just get away with it, and like he needed to punish people who upset him and disgraced him. So
I had so many mixed feelings with him as a villain and stuff, because like. You love to, like you said, you love to see when a villain is not only just very powerful and formidable as like in a physical sense, but like he was also smart and whatnot.
Yeah.
He was also like just like unnecessarily cruel at times, which kind of adds to the humor. But like,
yeah,
like,
he was.
Oh man, like execute this man, like all of his own men. I'm like, Jesus, like.
And yeah, at this point, I feel like we're seeing so much like comedy focused over exaggerations, which like we'll see if this keeps up in Dragon Ball. But definitely, I feel like in this one, you had a bunch of those moments where...
Like, I remember watching that, but I don't remember actually, like, them walking back out and then, like, just hearing a gunshot. And you're like, Jesus, like, they really did just execute a dude because he picked his nose. Like, it got to me more than it should have. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me, it was just weird seeing a villain that... I mean, we've seen powerful villains before, but one that is complex in the sense of, like Anime Dude said, super cruel in one sense, but then like super scared in other senses, and like very vain in the sense when he gets hit, he's almost like crying over the fact that he got hit, and like his perfect figure is ruined, or just getting scared by the mouse, like the phobia of that. I mean, it's an interesting character in that sense, where you're like this guy is complex, right? Compared to just someone like a huge robot in Muscle Tower or something that just thinks one way. Like this guy,
exactly.
Different attributes to him.
I do love the fact that
go ahead, Anime Dude.
I was just gonna say, I do love the fact that like all the different people in the Red Ribbon Army have such unique personalities, though. Like I would just love to see all the different generals play a game of Among Us, like Ruby and Sus and all that jazz.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Right? Throwing everybody off the ship.
It's like that guy picked his nose. He has to be the imposter. He has to be. Yeah. No, I enjoy that. I enjoy like the differences there. I enjoyed like all of Bulma's like trying to entice him, and it didn't work. So like Bulma finally met her match. So yeah, on Roshi, that would have worked. So that's like another hilarious part.
And did you notice?
Yeah,
it was pretty funny. Like he had Launch's underwear hung up, like purposely in front of like the kitchen or something.
Oh yeah. or whatever. He was just staring out the window at it. Like,
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I just assumed Launch did that, but yeah, maybe like
Well, I
Roshi's
mean,
being
just the way, yeah, just the way like it was positioned, like it's right in the open for him to see, and like I'm sure he's like, yeah, just hanging up right here.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, yeah.
it's definitely easy just to like forget the extent of his perviness. Like he holds no bars. Like he's like giving Bulma every drink in the house, whatever. Like, you want another glass of water? Like,
Yeah.
here,
No,
get
for
that
sure.
water.
Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to mention, which like was hilarious to me, was when Bulma ended up actually like sticking Crystal in her panties, right? And then she straight out
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
she straight out took it out afterwards, and she's like, Krillin was like, "Oh, I thought you had a bulge too big to be a woman there," and then he straight up smells
I sniffed it, dude. I forgot about that. I rewatched it. I
Yo.
was like, oh my god.
Yo, that was so funny. He was like, I just wanted to see if it smelled.
She freaked out on him too, right?
No, yeah, for sure. Oh man, but yeah, the thing is, I appreciate that they did that, because the whole time I was thinking like, bro, he's like, touching it like it was like, she was just holding it in her hand and stuff like that, and it's like no one's acknowledging like where she took it out from. But I appreciate what she said too, like, cause yeah, she likes adventure to an extent. She likes the idea of like finding treasure and stuff, but she already has all the money she'll need in the world, right? Like her dad's super rich. So she, at the end of the day, again, showing she's not pure like selfish. She's like, yeah, you know what? Here, you can give that to Master Roshi, and he can get like a new machine that we ruined, and yet it's actually way more. And Master Roshi wonders how many like strip dances he can get for that and stuff like that.
Oh, is that what he said in the sub? Like,
Yeah. So us like, yeah, how many like lap dances or something like that.
Oh, man.
What
I
did
think
he say
said,
in the
like,
dub?
it was something to do with like those freaking videos that he watches. He was like, I wonder how many workout tapes I can give it, or not.
Oh
like
yeah,
workout
yeah,
tapes,
that
but,
was
like,
more tape.
magazines.
Yeah, I noticed that like in the when I was watching the sub in the manga, like there are some things that are like worse in one and some things are worse in the other. I think it's just like with rules of like the different mediums where I straight up saw like a middle finger, like Launch shoving a middle finger in like one of the dude's faces. The red ribbon dudes, but like I don't remember recalling that in the actual anime, which maybe they just can't show the middle finger in the anime.
I know they do show like later on in like Z and stuff. They show the middle finger
All
a few times, at least in the uncut version and stuff. Because I remember my parents getting really mad about that when they saw that. They were like, "Why are they doing that in this kids show?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah, it's like, what's the big deal? Like, you're watching people get murdered, and it's like, oh no, the middle finger, censor it. Yeah. Oh man, I'm just glad like 4Kids. Well, I feel like it would be entertaining, but like I'm glad 4Kids like that heavily censored stuff didn't do like Dragon Ball. Like, what would they do? Like, there's so many inappropriate moments like everywhere.
yeah, I don't know. Like you mentioned though, it just cracks me up that like they don't hold anything back. Like you think they might just kind of gloss over something like the whole Crystal being in her panties or whatever.
Yeah,
no, they go for it. They go for gold.
Yeah, they focus on it. It's not even like oh, we're gonna like do it. They're like straight up. This is the main focus. What did you think of the Crystal moment, Ray?
No, it was funny. It was right up there with in the last arc when they're with the fortune teller, well, the supposed fortune teller, and they're like, "I predict you have like balls there," and then like Goku
two balls under there.
So, no, it was funny. I mean, it's funny how they're making these kind of jokes again, just like you talked about. But no, I mean, it was hysterical. I found it was one of the funniest moments definitely in the arc, and there were a lot of comedic moments, especially with Penguin Village. But no, definitely made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, right. And they had to do that too when he had the 2 balls, because now he has 3 balls and it just wouldn't work. So they took advantage of the moment when they saw it.
Yeah,
I kind of like the fact that that Bulma after this whole fiasco just says, "Nope, I'm out." Like
yeah, that was interesting.
She's so lucky that the Red Ribbon Army is full of stormtroopers. Like they're the Star Wars equivalent, because like them flying and just shooting her down in that island, like they missed so many shots, and then afterwards they're like, "Stop or we'll shoot." I'm like, you guys have been shooting for like the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. And yeah, that's like what I've been telling Ray, like that comedic environment, comedic like world that we're living in. Like again, in the world Dragon Ball is created, like it's not weird that they miss so much, right? But like if you think about like the realisticness in like a Hollywood film kind of that's trying to be portrayed as like more realistic, then you'd be like, how could she not get hit after all those bullets? Like, come on, right?
It's just such a weird mix. Like
exactly.
Like, this is coming from somebody that's watched anime for years. Like, I don't feel like you see this very often anymore. Like, like I said, probably weird to Ray as well and stuff. You go from like funny-ish moments like that stuff where they're just shooting her for 10 minutes and missing every shot, and then the next moment they're going so freaking dark.
You're 100% right. And I think you brought up a good point there, because there is like a tone shift, and you got to watch out for those tone shifts, because there could be like a lighthearted tone and you could have people straight up getting like shot and like nothing happening, but then there could be like darker tones where like lives are actually on the line kind of thing. So yeah, I agree with that. Well said. It all depends like on the tone of the specific and the specific context of the moment. Yeah.
So Ray, was there anything we haven't like touched upon yet and stuff that like just kind of stuck out to you whenever you were watching the General Blue saga?
I don't know. I think we covered it all. Like we talked about Blue, talked about the weirdness of Penguin Village. Maybe
was that? Wait, I wanted to ask you guys. Did that guy remind you of Yamcha in Penguin Village? Like, wasn't that guy like a straight up Yamcha lookalike?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I do too. Like the fact that we know who you're talking about kind of says.
Yes, yeah. I feel like I think Horikoshi did this in My Hero Academia. Like he straight up brought like characters look from there to like Bakugo or whatever or something, and I feel like that's kind of what Toriyama did too. He's like, oh, I like this character. I'm gonna just like add him into this world in a different context. And that's cool. I didn't know Yamcha had so much history. In a way, he's like the oldest one. Sam, thank you so much for all of the subs, man. Gifted subs. Amazing.
I always find it really interesting when mangaka choose to reuse character designs like that. Like,
no, yeah, and I find it fascinating, bro. Like, probably not a lot of the people like that are watching anime care about this stuff, but like, I feel like when I've made all those videos, like researching it, I find it so fascinating what goes on behind the scenes, and like what characters are brought back, or like what the author was going through before they published it and made it big, right? Like how they were like struggling, and then this was their last chance, and then they kind of like pulled it off. Like that kind of stuff is inspirational to me, aside from even like anime and stuff.
Oh, 100%. And like, I don't know, I find stuff like that so fascinating. There's actually one mangaka, I think his name is Adachi. I just kind of looked it up and stuff. He does a bunch of different sports series, and he has so many different stories that he's told. Some better than others, like cross game and everything. But like literally, I feel like every manga he does, he basically uses the exact same character designs from the one before that. So like, if I ever watch or read or anything of any of his works, I can't go to the next work without like giving it time, because I'm like, man, that is the exact same character. Say what you want, like they look the exact same. Like,
no, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I do follow the woman that did Honey and Clover, like a manga, and like she did Marge Comes in Like a Lion, and she did the visuals for Eden of the East. So I think those she, I think, like is like a soulmate, man. Like I really appreciate her, everything she does. I'm like, I love it. I love it. Not like a soulmate as in like, I'm gonna marry her, but just like a soulmate as in like she gets me, man. She gets me. But Ray, what were you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just saying before. I know I kind of said at the beginning how it wasn't necessarily my favorite arc. I still liked it.
Yeah, and you're honest. Yeah.
Cool. And the other thing is like this next arc kind of talked about before. I'm starting to really like. So I think my number one arc right now is tournament arc still. This one may slot into maybe the 3 spot. I think the first arc maybe slots into the 2, and then the last one with Muscle Tower is the last one so far. But in your opinion, maybe going around, where does this slot for you in terms of favorite arc so far?
Oh, that's an interesting question to ask. We could do that like in future episodes too. Yeah, Anime Dude, you wanna
yeah. For me, like I said, from every arc that you've seen thus far, I'd probably put the tournament arc in my favorite, or the tournament arc and the training leading up to it in my favorite as well. Like I said, I've gone back to watch that a few separate times. This one isn't quite as far up there. compared to a lot of the rest of the series, but it does have its moments. Like I feel like the cave itself like felt kind of dragged out to me, and maybe it's because I've only really watched the anime for that part. But like I felt like they were in that cave fighting that pirate robot for like a long while, and like that kind of drags out a little bit. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of where I would slot it, because I'd probably slot it about third or fourth.
Yeah, we have 4 so far, right? Yeah, but episode 4. Yeah, I'd agree with Anime Dude, probably 3 or 4. I think like, you know, the tournament exactly, and the tournament is like was obviously so good, like tournament arc, training arc, like inspirational stuff. I loved it. The beginning is like iconic, you know, that adventure begins like, you know, they put out some of the best like comedic stuff usually in like the beginning too. But I do think like always in everything we watch, there is moments I love, and I think like there are great moments. But yeah, for sure, like as a whole, you can't compare this necessarily to the tournament arc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just freaking love that tournament arc, though. I'm biased against tournament arcs.
But there was a villain that Ray, you talked about, like that you're hyped up to see more of, that because you watched ahead a bit. So who's that villain?
You want me to mention it?
Well, just the name. You don't need to mention like
Mercenary Tao.
Okay, because I heard even Anime Dude mention him in the chat.
I do love General Tao. Like I remember watching him like young. Like some of my earliest memories of watching Dragon Ball are of seeing that man. And yeah, he's a great.
You love him. All right. Well, yeah. If you're available, obviously you work. But if you want to come on Wednesday and like talk about him, we're down for that too. So you can see how that works out in your schedule. But yeah, thank you Anime Dude for coming on. We appreciate it always. And you are actually like a Dragon Ball expert compared to us, because like we haven't seen the rest of it.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say expert by any means and stuff. Like I said,
well, you've watched it. You're guiding us through it a bit when you're
like
on.
Quite a few years back and stuff. So it's kind of cool just getting to revisit it now and like see, like notice stuff I just didn't remember or didn't notice before. So thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast.
For sure, man. Always appreciate you guys. If you don't know, Anime Dude's like one of the nicest guys on YouTube and one of my oldest YouTube friends. And like I really appreciate how like, you know, you hustle. You're doing it on Twitch. Check out his Twitch. Check out his YouTube. He published a video recently. And Ray, any closing thoughts?
No, just super excited for the next arc, because like I said, the possibility this may be my favorite one.
Excellent.
So far. So
excellent. The hype is real.
I was talking to Gozen even before we started recording, just like, man, I'm so excited for this. And so I already have stuff just from the first 4 episodes I'm super pumped to talk about. So there's 6 more to go. I'm really excited. And yeah, I know we'll have a great conversation.
One last thing that I just got to let Gozen know he's missing out on. So in the dub, General Red, he's small, he has orange hair, and Irish accent, buddy. You're missing out.
Yeah, the accents get me too. Yeah, no, I believe that. All right, cool. So guys, even more reasons to check out the dub if you haven't already. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.